Hey everybody, thank you so much for being here, not only on time, but you were a little bit early. I just realized that I have my app open. I apologize, you guys. Let me turn this off here. All right. I should know better. That was a rookie move. I was like, why can I hear myself? All right, you know the drill. Please drop your city and state so I can shout you out. I have had a little hiatus. It was much needed, but I am very refreshed and ready to go. I'm really excited because we have a really good show for you today. I've got my buddy Jason who's going to be joining in this conversation, and we're going to get into why dating hurts so badly. And I want you guys to be able to enjoy the process. I have had to learn the hard way, and I feel like I'm finally figuring it out, so I want to share it with you. If this is your first time watching the show, I want to tell you my mission. My mission is to bridge the communication gap between men and women and also let people know the type of power that they possess so they can start to live the type of life that they have always dreamed of. If you have not done so already, please subscribe, hit that notification bell if you want to be notified every time a new video drops. I drop videos every Tuesday, and of course on Sundays I go live. Anyway, if you guys follow me on Instagram, you know all about my Sunshine Club. My Sunshine Club is a place of accountability and encouragement. It's a place where I can work with individual people who want to reach their goals but are struggling with the how to. If you feel like you get discouraged, you feel like you keep falling off the wagon, and you need a little bit of an extra push, join the Sunshine Club. Today is a great day to start because it's August 1st and we start our August challenge for today. So if you want information about that, click the link in the description or just DM me on Instagram and I can give you all the information that you need. All right, we are going to get into it. I have today Jason Hayes with me, and he's going to be having this conversation. Hey, Jason, welcome. I'm trying to read and talk at the same time. It's making me stutter over here. How's it going?
Going pretty well. How you doing?
Good, thank you. Good, thank you. Feels good to be back. I've been gone for like almost a month, but it feels like so much longer.
Forever. I was like, where'd she go? Then she comes back, 50 pounds lighter.
Hey.
Red dress tonight.
Thank you.
Conversation.
I appreciate it. All right, guys. So we have a little bit of a sound technicality. We were trying to work it out before he came on, but there's a little bit of feedback. So hopefully you guys can bear with me. Comment if you guys can hear it, if it's too much, and we'll keep tinkering with it. But hopefully this will be good. All right. So I'm going to start out this. I want to take a quick little poll. We have a few people who are here on time. So if you guys are interested, share your relationship status. I should say, why am I having a speech impediment right now? If you guys are comfortable sharing your relationship status, go ahead and do that. And you can chime in if you want to as well, Jason, and let me know your relationship status or type it in the comments, because it's always interesting to see where the person's perspective is coming from. But I want to know, and I'm going to be asking this question throughout the evening. I saw this somewhere else, and I posted in my Facebook group, but I wanted to see what you guys have to say. So here's the question of the night, in addition to putting a relationship status. If somebody that you were getting to know, okay, you're flirting with, talking to on a regular basis, whatever, if they sent you a photo of them, and you're like, oh, it's cute, you like the picture, but then later that day you saw that they had posted it online, on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, wherever, would it make you feel a way? Why or why not? So I'm going to pose that to you first, sir, and see what you have to say about that. Oh no, now it's too quiet. Put it up a little bit. Oh, I can hear you a little better.
Is that better?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so for me, when you ask somebody to send you a picture, right? It's like you're saying, this is exclusively for me, right? This is not for the world to see. So if they send it to you, whether they send it to you first and then post it or vice versa, then that specialness of it being just for me goes away. You know what I mean? So that little connection between the two of you is gone. So yeah, I mean, I would feel some type of way about it.
So I actually agree with you. I feel the same way. I've had that experience before where I really felt special, and then later in the day it was like, oh. Okay. So when I posted in my Facebook group, some people were like, who cares? What's the big deal? It's not a big deal. And I always want to add, to you. It's not a big deal to you. And the person who cares, and I think that's something that we have to get away from with this group think where it's like, if it doesn't work for you, that's okay, but you don't have to mean that it doesn't work for someone else. Or if it does work for you, you shouldn't shame the person who it does work for, vice versa, how I'm trying to say it. But I agree. I feel like if I wanted to see a picture of you that's on social media, I would just go on your social media. But it's the idea and the intent behind it that this is something I took special for you. And that's the energy I give when I'm sending an image to my person. Even if it's like, I'm feeling cute because it's women, we have a moment where we feel like we look cute, our hair's all the way together, our outfit's dope or whatever. I'll still take a separate picture so that if he does go online, he can see, oh, that's a different shot. Like this one, I was literally thinking about you when I took this one photo here. So it's interesting to see. We'll see what the people say in the comments. So far, they haven't chimed in, but they are really good. They know how I am with the likes. So people have already hit that like button. So thank you so much, everyone who's done that. But weigh in. I know the comments are delayed. Weigh in. Okay, so you could say, I would care or I would not care. And that's for the first question. So if you're just joining in, it's if the person you're interested in sends you a photo and then later posted online, would you care or would you not care? So Jason and I have both said that we would care. And this is one of the issues that I took with the responses in the group. There was kind of like this almost condescending air, I kind of felt like why would I care? Or what's the big deal? With the people who didn't care. And what my thought was, okay, but take a look and see, there's a mixture. Some people do and some people don't. And at the end of the day, if you like the person that you're talking to, you want to err on the side of caution for one, and two, maybe have that conversation. And I think that's one of the problems, which we'll be getting into in this conversation with dating nowadays, is that everybody is so focused on me. It's like, oh, he needs to get over it. He's tripping. He's asking for too much. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. So, interesting.
Well, it's like, the question is anything sacred anymore at that time? Right? When you're dating, you're trying to create like this connection between you and this person. Like, this is the thing you two like to do. These are the pet names. These are the holds, or, maybe
little traditions. Yeah.
She knows what that means. Whatever. These are the gestures, right? I'm not seeing a lot of it. I'm seeing a lot of like, whatever, it's mine. I can do what I want with it, and you have to get over it, accept it, because that's just me.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to pocket you and hold you away from everybody, but at some point in time, I just want to see that we have our own connection. Because if I see you do this with several other, especially guys,
yes.
I don't know how I feel about it, but I think we can all get very territorial, right? So you're doing this for everybody, and it's like, oh, well, guess what? All right, I know what it is.
Yes.
Especially from a guy.
And I like that you said the exclusiveness, because this is my take, this is my preference. So don't come for me, people, the modern women, but just like in marketing, the more exclusive something is, the more value it is perceived to be. And notice I said perceived, because we know you can obviously have it and still have everything you want. But the perception, and that to me comes from access as well. If anyone has access to you, they could reach you, you respond, you're giving them your energy. That's something else that I feel is not very exclusive with some people. The other thing is their body. Yes, we do live in a day and age where you can wear bikinis and things like that. And this is always the biggest argument people make. Yeah, but you could go to the beach and see just as naked, whatever. It's different to me on social media, unless you are a bikini model or, you just have the random vacation photo. But to me, it's more sacred and more special if it's exclusive with my guy. If every woman could see his package because he's wearing these super tighty whities, and every woman could see him topless because he's always flexing in the mirror and showing off his pecs, it just takes away a little bit of the specialness for me. Again, don't come for me, y'all. But it makes it a little more special when everyone else kind of gets the buttoned up, prim and proper, and then I get the, hey, deity. Sure.
You got bigger problems than you. I'm going to tell you right now.
He's like, let's start there. Haynes is not his way. John says, I would be a little hurt, but I would try to not take it too seriously. Yeah, and you know, when it happened to me, I had to mentally just get past it and be like, well, at least I got it first. But that is my preference, you know, and that is what I'm gonna choose to do. Interesting. All right, so I'm gonna ask another poll question to warm this up here. This was something that was posted in a different group, and I wanted to get the thoughts there. Oh, perfect. We have James. Oh, hey, James. He is in Atlanta. So, all right. So this is the next scenario. So you're in a group setting, all right? Maybe it's like a lounge, a day party, whatever. But it's a bunch of single people running around. And the guy connects with a woman. They end up chopping it up, having cool conversation, good vibes all around. So they exchange numbers, all right? And then it was just kind of like, okay, cool. It was great talking to you. Let's link later, yada, yada, yada. They go their separate ways. At some point in the night, he ends up seeing another woman. They end up kikiing, great vibes, energy seems mutual. They exchange numbers. But the first woman saw that exchange, that second exchange, and she says, you gotta do the hands. Don't even worry about it. Go ahead and lose my number. Okay? Now, who was right? Who was wrong? That is how the question was phrased. Who was right? Who was wrong? So weigh in addition to dropping your city and state, go ahead and answer question number 2 for the poll. Who was right? Who was wrong? Go ahead, Jason. I can't wait to hear your thoughts.
Do I got it?
Nail yourself to that cross. Nail it.
Oh boy! Wow.
Did it get hot in there? A little warm?
A little warm. So, jeez Louise. Okay.
Help him out in the comments, y'all. Help him in the comments. John talking about, ooh, wait.
I'm gonna say she's wrong.
Okay.
I'm gonna say she's wrong because here's the deal.
Mm-hmm.
If you're out and about, it's a night on the town. You're hanging out with the fellas. She's hanging out with the girls. You know, you anticipate getting numbers, right? And that's just not for guys. It's for women as well because 9 times out of 10, women are the approached. So it's up to them if they want to take a number or give a number, right? For guys, yes, we are the hunters. But to think that we're gonna actually just stick to that one when we're in a room. Now, am I guilty of this? I so am. I pretty much 100 to 1,000% am guilty of doing something like this. But I also keep in mind with the caveat that once I get this girl's number, I don't want to see her again for the rest of the night. So I will go to the other side of the room. I'll go over here, I'll go over here, I'll go over here, and I'll just keep moving, you know, and maybe if I get about 3, then I kind of stop because that's just
a lot, yeah.
Right? But ideally, I always tell guys, I say, look, dude, like you got one shot.
Choose wisely.
You got one. Choose wisely, because if even when guys meet a group of girls, you know, I say you gotta take your pick because if you decide and the other one that actually liked you, you know, now she doesn't like you know, because you went after this one.
Yep.
So you gotta have a little patience. You gotta have a little waiting game. You know, you got to kind of feel them all out to see who gravitates to who, you know. But most guys, what we go wrong is we go in like vultures on a corpse in the middle of the desert. Oh, she's cute. Boom. Oh, I think she's cute. Boom. Oh, I think she. And they're just, you know, and you know me, I just kind of sit back and patiently wait to see what's up, see who's feeling the vibe, see who's not feeling the vibe. But the answer to that question is, I think she's wrong. If she thought that she was just, because the question is, what if it was reversed, right? Mm-hmm. What if another guy came up to her and wanted to talk to her and exchange contact information? Would she decline and be like, oh, no, I just met this guy over here?
Yeah.
That's not realistic.
Right. Okay. I appreciate your honesty. I have actually been in a situation like that before and ended up becoming friends with the guy to the point where we talk about it and we laugh about it now. And I was his second choice. So like not second person he talked to, but I was literally his second choice if the other one didn't come through. So anyway, I want to give my take. I'm actually going to read these comments really quick. So Jimmy says the woman is wrong. And James says because they just met, there's no commitment to getting a second number, may not be as bad. So getting the second number may not be that bad. John says agree with the fellas. Jimmy says you're either single or married. He said if there was a wow that took place, he probably wouldn't have gone up to the other number. You get into my point, James. Depending on where one is in life and what you're looking for. Okay, so here's what I want to unpack. I think that neither person is wrong, and that was a bit of a trick question, but I wanted to phrase it the way that the original post was posted. But I do feel that there's a matter of tact. So, my dad used to have this saying when it came to safety on the sidewalk. He said, when the crosswalk light changes, the little white, light comes on, there's a little walking man, you have the right of way. However, you're responsible to look both directions before you cross the sidewalk because it doesn't matter how right you are. If a car comes and runs you over, you will be dead right. Now, why I say that is because I feel that when a person is very intuitive and a person is very knowledgeable about psyche, which Jason was getting into a little bit, you understand that feelings can be hurt and we are not always logical. As much as I know something to be true, we're not logical. Case in point, the whole point about the photo. The person took the time to send it to me. That should have made me feel special. But the fact that I saw it on social media took away from that. And I had to pull from my logic, even though my emotions said otherwise. And no matter what that person says, the damage is done. Now, I'm making this point. It doesn't have to be that the damage is catastrophic and I want to end my life. It doesn't have to be that severe. But we can admit that some things bother us. And that bothered me. So with this, I would 100% agree with what you're saying as far as take your time. If you understand that there is the possibility of offending somebody, err on the side of caution. If you're a person who cares about other people's feelings. Now, there's probably somebody who's watching who's like, I ain't got time to be worrying about sensitive people. You're probably not going to go that far with relationships because you got to have a lot of empathy when dealing with other people, even if it's something that you personally don't struggle with. And I think the guy that understands that a woman wants to feel special will go very far. And somebody was saying, James was saying, if there's a wow that took place, he probably wouldn't have gone up to the other number. And that's what women want to think. We want to feel like we made such an impression that you don't want anything else, even though the reality is it's a numbers game. And most of the time, the guy is just trying to mass fish. So,
Look, at the end of the day, my rule is, if Halle Berry walks into the room, I don't care if we're married, it's over.
Right?
Shoot my shot, right? I'm going to shoot my shot. And I think that goes back to the wow factor, right? Mm-hmm. But, I always, what I find myself asking, and this is one thing that I heard from a married couple one time, because the wife said, hey, do you know what my husband say if he always wants to end an argument? And I was like, please, lay this brilliance on me. The thing was, what if the shoe was on the other foot? Mm-hmm. Like, I feel, right? Because I think not too long ago, there was a thing, and I think even in our last call, there was a thing of like, men being vulnerable, being able to open up, being able to talk, right? So it's like, how would you feel if the shoe was on the other foot? 100%. How would you feel if this happened to you? And then you just said something about, it's not earth shattering. Right? Well, we live in the world of drama. Real Housewives and all this other stuff. Everything is drama. And then there's the thing of, oh, he's being so sensitive or she's being so sensitive. It's like, allow them to live in that moment. Right. Allow them and take accountability for what you did. If we were at a club and I came and I talked to you, Yonci, and then there's another girl over there and I went and talked to her and you looked at me like, nigga, I see you. Right? I'm going to be like, yeah, you do. You called me. I'm still going to call you. No, it's up to you what you want to do with that. Yes. But And you could ask me about it, and that's cool. Like you said, you have a friend, you talked about it, right? And that's to me what really leads to a successful relationship is being able to have those conversations, being able to say, you know, you're wrong, you take accountability. You know what I said? Like this weekend, I know I said I was going to do something, I didn't, and I owned it. I said, you know what? I own it. I will take full accountability for that. There's 1,000 different reasons why it did not happen, but it didn't happen.
And you still survived to tell about it.
Right.
You took accountability and you didn't die. Like, you're still here.
Yeah. Still here.
So functioning. Yeah. People act like it's the end of the world to take accountability. And I also think that when they take accountability, they think sometimes that they're admitting that they were doing something malicious. Taking accountability does not mean that you had malicious intent. It means I can understand how my actions inadvertently affected you. And because that happened, I'm going to apologize for the inadvertent effect that happened. So I love that you own that. And that's why I jokingly say, and you're still alive. Like, it's okay. You're still a man. You're still cool. I want to get into this conversation about authenticity, and I want to talk about vulnerability. And I feel like that was a perfect transition when you were talking about you should be able to have those conversations. It is so true. I think that a lot of times we try so hard to act unbothered. I can't stand that, by the way. We try to superficially act unbothered when in reality we are. And we have really glamorized this hard, tough exterior, you know, that acts like I'm not fazed. If they ghost me, I don't care. And and that's just not real. And I think that people just paint this picture where you're either so unbothered, so unfazed, or you're this freak of nature who's just so dramatic and they can't even get their life together because they're just devastated at everything. And there's such a middle point. Like, there's so much ground between those two things, and that middle ground is the healthy place, and that's the part that I want to really unpack. Oh, we have a Chino Hills. I lived 9 years in Chino, very close to Chino Hills. Hey, Eric. So anyway, I want to get into that. I feel that there is this, the reason why people don't like vulnerability is because in the wrong hands, it's very dangerous. And in the right hands, it is absolutely necessary and beneficial. And so during this video, I said, how can we make dating more fun? Dating is more fun when you recognize the red flags early on and say, this is a person I can't be vulnerable with. So let's go back to the analogy, okay? Let's say we met in a club. You're not a malicious person. Maybe you just feeling yourself that night. You did vibe with me. Someone was giving you attention. You got her number, whatever. And then you texted me, and maybe I said something a little salty that gave you an indication I was feeling away. And I said, oh, well, I'm surprised I even got a call, which I don't do the passive aggressive anymore, but I used to. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm glad you had time for me, you know, because Miss Purple Dress seemed to have your attention all night. How you respond lets me know which category to put you in. So I'm going to have you give me an example, if we can role play, what an arrogant, uncaring response would be. Are you down for that?
Let's go.
All right, let's give the people two, because you got to start learning people's behavior and applying it.
Yeah.
All right, so option one, if I said, oh, okay, I'm surprised, we'll be on the phone. Oh, I'm surprised you had time for me because, you know, you got a little purple dress, you know, she had you pinned up pretty much the whole night.
I'll be like, shucks. Hold on, I'm not used to doing this on the fly.
I know. Okay, you're the asshole who really doesn't care.
So I'm the asshole. Okay.
You don't care how I'm feeling.
So I'd be like, so why are you worried about purple dress anyway? I mean, I'm the prize, so you should care about the prize. Like,
the issue is on me then. So I'm just having an issue. I'm tripping.
It's literally your fault. You know what I'm saying? Because look, here's what happened. Okay, here's what happened. Let me tell you the story. I saw you in the red dress.
Mm-hmm. I was cute too.
And red literally means stop because it's like danger, real Robertson. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, you know, purple dress came up to me, which is royalty. And it's not that I don't find you as royalty, but at the end of the day, you are royal. but purple is like the actual in the Webster Dictionary, Wikipedia, it's royal. So what I said was in my mind when I talked to Jesus on Sunday after the club, uh, he said, you know what? He guided me back to the red flag.
Now, we're playing around and doing role playing. Good job, because I really put you on the spot. But this is the thing. You have to see, even in the small scenarios, does the person value your opinion? And do they care about your mental state or your peace of mind? If he could have felt like she was doing the most, and he might have. But whether or not he lays that on thick and makes her feel like it's her issue, that's the problem. And if you do a lot of that ownership, you know what, that is on me, I got a little greed, I did get carried away, whatever, it lets the woman then see, and I'm just saying men and women in this case, it could be reversed, but it lets the other person realize, like, okay, they have ability to see where they kind of went wrong, show a little bit of their negative side, like sometimes I get a little bit ambitious, and I've had, or they could be vulnerable and say, I've had some bad experiences where people give me the wrong numbers, so I do like to kind of hedge my bets, but now that I realize how it made you feel, man, I hate that made you feel that way.
But you also got to look at the scenario where the asshole will never take accountability.
Oh, no.
Asshole will never take accountability. It's always your fault because you wore the dress, because you let me leave your site, because you allowed me. And here's the worst part. If you really felt that way, you wouldn't have picked up the phone. You wouldn't have responded back to the text. You wouldn't have given any of my foolishness that time. If you give me the wiggle room, and I feel like this is men and women, doesn't matter. If you give that person the wiggle room to come in, then you have subjected yourself to whatever punishment that you are going to receive.
You all in my notes, sir. And thank you, John. We're having an issue with his system. I can't figure it out. That's why he keeps hitting mute. But for the most part, it'll be like this. Thank you for doing all the extra gymnastics, having to keep muting yourself, Jason. John was giving me advice. But yes, that's 100% where I want to go with this. We have to realize, and I used to hate when people say that I was the problem. When I said, oh, man, you should see the kind of guys that I have to deal with. You really don't have to deal with people. Once they show you who they are, you then adjust accordingly. And even if there's a chance where you're like, I'm not really sure if I read this wrong, they're going to quickly show you again. The problem is that when we wish and hope and pray and do sage and all this stuff, trying to make the asshole into the good guy or make the woman that's for the streets into a housewife. You have to accept people for where they are and stop looking at them and dating them for their potential. Unless the potential is something that's not a deal breaker, that's another thing. Okay, he's not where he wants to be, but I see he's grinding. That's a different kind of potential. But if he's a whole hoe and an asshole, it doesn't matter that maybe one day he could find Jesus after he goes to church after the club. You're dating him right now. So, and I've dealt with guys before. I had a guy not that long ago that I felt was not giving me the type of time that I deserved. And to me, time is a huge indicator of how interested you are. And I let the guy know, hey, I have nothing against you. I think you're amazing. I think you're cute. We have amazing chemistry. But right now, I can tell you don't have the time to talk to me, the type of time I would need. If in the future you feel like you have the time, go ahead and hit me up. So I left it open. He wasn't somebody that had a deal breaker, but at that time, I'm not going to deal with that. And it would be jokes on me if I continue to let him stay in my life because it would constantly stress me out. Why am I only hearing from him once a day? Or why am I, why is he not asking me out on a regular basis? We have to tap into our power. Were you going to say something?
Yeah, so I was going to say that I think, and I wrote down this in my notes, I think the biggest part and problem is the ego and control. It's the ego and control. If you think about why do people lose money in a casino, right? It's the ego and control. The dopamine, your dopamine of excitement brings you in the door, right? But then you get in and you get to that slot machine and you're like, I'm not going to let this game beat me. I'm not going to let this game beat me. That's your ego and control. You don't have enough. You don't know how to pack your ego and let the control go and just walk away from it, And that's why they hit you with the bright lights and they're like, oh, you didn't win at that game? Go try this game. You didn't win at this machine. You see somebody win at a machine, you go to that machine.
Yeah.
It's ego and control that drives it. And I think that's our biggest problem. And that's why we can't see the red flags.
Yeah.
I'm going to force you to be this way. You know, now me, I'm more of a motivator, and I used to be that way. I used to be horrible with it, and I got to the point where I started to get quiet. You know, and this is probably, I'm probably jumping ahead again, but it goes into the red flags in dating, right?
Yes.
I used to see that potential. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, right? Now I just say, look, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show you who I am up front. Okay, this is exactly who I am. Good luck on change. Are you gonna woo me? I will. If I'm a romantic guy, then I'm just gonna woo you. That's it. If I'm not, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm in the mood, maybe I'm not. I don't know. This is what I'm gonna do, right? And this is me constantly, because consistency wins the day at, you know, at the end of the day. So I try to bring in that consistency, but I want to see what you're going to do too. And a lot of women, I think we talked about this, a lot of women will play possum, because I'm like, you got to step up at some point in time and show this guy you just can't sit there and be cute all the time. You know, we got to see something. You're telling us, hey, I'm cute. He's like, yeah, okay, you're cute. We can do the date. I don't have any issues with you. And here's how men think. Okay, I don't have any issues with you. You're absolutely great, but you're not doing anything for me. So mentally, I'm gonna go date somebody else.
Yeah.
We start the numbers game, where women think, well, if he's interested in me and I'm cute, then why would he go to another woman? Because the other woman offered something, you know?
Yes.
If she's not offering anything, then it's kind of a sliding scale, a slippery slope, if you will, where guys, we're kind of on this mountain of, until I hit this woman and I can plant that flag, then guess what? You know, like, but until then,
yeah,
it's gonna keep going.
And you say keep going, but most men don't let go. So they keep going on their search, but they don't let go of the little prizes they've gathered along the way. And this is where I love having men and women on here, because I love that you're looking out for the guys and I'm looking out for the ladies. Ladies, you might be that person who's just in his pocket. It's like someone climbing up a mountain and they collect rocks and put them in their pocket. You don't want to be a rock in his pocket and you wishing and hoping that maybe one day I'm gonna get to the mountaintop with him. No, sis, you just a little rock in the pocket that he thought was cute and he done forgot about it. He totally forgot it was in his jacket pocket. With women, that's why you have to start out with, what do I want? What does it look like? I know exactly what I want out of a relationship. I could write a whole book about it. I know what type of conversations I want to have. I know what kind of frequency I want to get in touch with him. I want to know how often I want to see him. I know how long it's going to take before I'm ready to commit to a relationship or a marriage. I have that clear. So when something goes outside of that, and I'm not talking about minuscule things, but I'm talking about a major variant. For example, I want to communicate at least once a day and by phone if I really like the person. So if this guy goes days without speaking to me by phone, deal breaker for me. If this person doesn't ask me out on a regular basis, regular meaning like once a week, or at least making plans once a week, deal breaker for me. You have to know what works for you. That way, if the guy goes outside of that, yeah, you can jump in. If he goes outside of that, then you know to go ahead and cut your losses, because you're not going to be happy.
So when you say making plans, right, once a week, okay, what type of plans are we talking about? Are we talking about the full-blown romantic date? Are we talking about the walk in the park? Are we talking about, because here's what guys need to know, right? Because we always want to portray ourselves as an alpha male in a female's eyes, right? So we need to know, what does that look like? But at the same time, and this is where I turn it about, okay? Because I say the woman needs to be making some plans too. We need to get to know you somehow outside of catering to your needs and your wants. We need to know that we can see that in reverse. So how does that work?
So I would say this rule. For me, it's kind of an unspoken 2 weeks. And I think part of this is the masculine energy. So I'm very big on masculine and feminine energy. Masculine is the pursuer and the provider. The woman is the nurturer and the caretaker. I 100% know what you're talking about, and I totally agree with it. I've talked to tons of men on this topic, and they agree with you. So I'm not dismissing your point. The timing is the part that's crucial for me. I think there should be approximately 2 weeks, and you don't have to be a slave to it, but just in general, the man needs to start the lead. And this is where paying attention works. I completely match the man's energy. So if the man calls me, I might let him call me twice, and then I'm going to initiate a call. I might let him initiate text maybe twice, and then I'll initiate a text. If he starts with the pet names, I'm right back there with the pet names. If he's complimenting me physically, I'm complimenting him right back physically. I will respond. I think the problem is that when you're asking her out and you're calling her and you're texting her and she only replies, that's usually what the man has an issue with. So I would just say for at least the first 2 weeks, men who are watching, this is my opinion, and ladies, let me know what you think about this. But I think for the first 2 weeks, she should get a little bit of a pass because women have so often gotten burned by men who are just wasting their time. So if you really like a woman, I wouldn't run away if she's not knocking your door down within the first couple weeks, because that's not feminine energy. And if you want a woman who's feminine, she's not going to come out the gate doing that. Once you show her that this is a safe space, she will reciprocate by giving you everything. But again, I wouldn't go super, super long. And when you're talking on the phone, I think a woman can let you know within the conversation. So let's say you called me, right? I'm going to say something to you that's very affirming. Oh my God, Jason, I'm so excited you called. I was actually hoping you would. I'm going to say that. That to me is still giving you that affirmation that a phone call might be giving. It might not be to the degree of a phone call, but that is coming if I see that it's a safe space. What were you gonna say?
Okay, so I'm gonna flip that around. You know, I'm gonna take it to the Omarion icebox days. You know, when guys turn cold, you know, because when you say that women have been hurt before by doing certain stuff, well, men have been hurt too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even a lot of time. In fact, to me, and this is something that I constantly ask people about, you know, it's always who invested first, who invested first. To me, from date number one, when the guy goes and buy a new shirt just so he can smell good, you know, for the date and everything, he's planning the day and you all are going out. You know what I mean? He's running around to catch every door that you're about to open. To me, he's investing. He's invested a lot, right? So I don't think, me personally, if I text you, I expect to text back. If I compliment you, I don't expect a compliment back, but it's nice if you do. I get, you know, kind of that tennis ball approach, right?
Yeah.
I would always say, I don't like to play games.
Mm-hmm.
That's, you know, where I'm at in life and in my age bracket. I don't like to play games. It's just too much work. If I text you and you don't respond, or here's my favorite thing. Let's say.
And by the way, I'm not advocating not responding. I'm talking about initiating.
Initiating. Got you.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I feel like, yeah, the guy should somewhat pursue, unless he's a shy guy, because I do know a couple of shy guys that, yeah, you might have to step up and say, hey, you know, can we go do ice cream? Whatever. But, you know, oh, shucks, I kind of lost my point.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Okay, so think about this analogy, though. So I know sometimes, you know, people's birthday will come up and I'm like, hey, you know, let's go grab dinner or whatever. And then comes the day, right, or close to, or comes to, and they say, hey, I'll take a rain check, right? What I used to do is I would follow up on me. I would follow up and be like, hey, you know, that dinner, this and the other.
Yes.
It dawned on me, why am I following up with this person?
Mm-hmm.
And they initiated the rain check.
Yes.
No, you have to follow up with me.
I 100% agree.
Now with the ball's in your court, and I think that goes back to like that accountability,
Mm-hmm.
right? So to me, I've seen where some women say, oh, well, let me get a rain check. Okay, cool. You get a rain check, but don't expect to hear from me.
Yes.
I'm not going to call you.
Yes. No, I 100% agree, and I feel, that's why I want to make it clear, we agree more than, I don't even know if we disagree, but we definitely agree more than we have a difference. For me, I feel like the man should take the lead, but every step of the way, it should be a dance. So you call me, I'm answering. You text me, I respond. Now, after about 2 weeks of consistent, you're showing me it's safe. As a man, you're showing me it's safe. I'm now going to start initiating, which is more masculine energy. I'm going to start calling, and eventually, I'll even ask you out. hey, I saw this movie. I'd love to go. Let me know if you're free this Friday. But I do believe in masculine and feminine energy, and I feel like the man should take the lead. Now, if women understand the psyche of men and understand that they're just as fragile emotionally, and I don't mean the word fragile, in a demeaning way, but just meaning like we have fragility to us. We're not just stone creatures. If you understand that it takes a man so much strength to ask you out, it takes so much strength to make that phone call. It takes so much strength to put himself out there and ask you on a date. You then come off your high horse, which a lot of women are on, with this attitude of like, okay, come impress me, peasant. It's that air. And if you really do like the guy back, show him. And the thing that I think is so great about this conversation in particular, it weeds out the foolishness. So the things that you're saying allows the man to not be bitter and guarded, but it's going to weed out the woman who's not interested in you and maybe is just sticking around for a free meal. The information I'm giving to the women is helping weed out the guys that are not very interested. I don't care if he's shy. I don't care if he's just not interested. If he's not taking initiative, you're not going to be happy anyway. It doesn't matter what the reason he's not taking initiative. So if he's not taking initiative, make a note and value yourself enough to step back and distance yourself. Stop taking his calls. Stop asking. And if he asks a question, that's, what's happened. That's your opportunity to say, you know what, I don't know if we're on the same page because I barely hear from you. And at that point, he can either point the finger at you and be like, well, that's on you. Or say, well, God, what do I have to do to step up? Because sometimes it is just a miscommunication. But going back to the point at the beginning, that's where you have the conversation and you pay close attention to how they respond. Are they an asshole or do they care about your feelings? And their goal is to further the potential relationship.
I'm an ass. I'm a complete asshole. No lie. I tell anybody.
No, you are not.
It makes me. I want to share my step 1, step 2, step 3 dating process, okay. Right? And I'm not saying it's the coup de grace, the best of the best, right? But for guys, to me, when you're trying to weed them out quick and see where the value comes in, I budgeted for 3 to 4 dates. And then if you make it past that, we're probably on a good path to success, right? Mm-hmm. So for the first date, I like to pick a nice restaurant where I can hear you, and I like to sit off to the back in a booth, in a corner, even that way, even if it is a little loud, yeah. I spend that intimate time with you. Mm-hmm. And then from there, that kind of, it gives her a chance to tell me whatever she wants. And I sit there and I listen. I communicate. I share. And, it can be playful, you can joke, but you have to, guys, you got to mentally take some notes. Because you will be tested on this later. Trust me, I have failed several times.
Yeah, you got to be present.
Got to be present. The second part is for you, however you move, that's how you got to plan the date around for the second date. That's if she makes it to the second date. You got to plan it around. Yeah. Me, I like to be active. I like to run around, play. I'm a big kid. So I'll choose a main event, a Dave & Buster's, something where she has to move. She can't wear heels. Well, she can wear heels if she wants to, but her feet on. I gotta see that energy. You know what I'm saying? Because if you can't keep up with me here, you're not gonna keep up with me anywhere else, right? So that's the second. And then by the third or fourth, depending on how that goes, I'm trying to see if she steps up. I'm trying to see, and this is where you could win the game. Okay, step up. You all talked. You've been talking for a couple of weeks probably. I'll say for 2 dates, you've probably been talking for at least about a month and a half. I don't know. I'm going to say about a month and a half.
Dang, only 2 dates in a month and a half? See, you already got cut.
People got schedules, man. Yeah, YouTube shows to do on Sunday. I mean, people got schedules. Told you I'm an asshole. I'm just saying, like, you've heard him talk, you've heard of his stressors, you've heard of things that's bothering him, maybe at work or whatever. Maybe he completely runs out of pens all the time because somebody keeps stealing his pens. That's your time to be a little creative and show that you've been paying attention to him. And that right there, if you can do that right there, you probably got him locked for at least about a good another 3 weeks.
You got his attention. No, I appreciate that. It's good to hear the men's take. And guys, weigh in if you agree. Ladies, let me know your thoughts as well. And if you haven't smashed that like button, please do that if you're enjoying it. Natasha says, definitely not an asshole. One of his date examples was going for ice cream. So sweet. I love that. And for me, a first date, I really don't like a lot of pressure. So I like a first date that doesn't cost anything. I hate when I hate when men spend money on me if I don't like them. It makes me feel horrible. So I always suggest, hey, let's go for a walk. Let's do a workout. Let's anything, a picnic, and we just bring our lunches, like anything where he doesn't have to spend money and it's not a really long time because you don't want to be trapped there with someone that you're not interested in. Because I do a lot of online dating because the area I live in, I don't bump into people because I don't really live around black people. So I'm not going to meet a guy at the grocery store normally. But I want to say this. I'm going to switch gears slightly. One of the big things, because I want to give you guys actual tangible things that you can, write down, things that are not tangible, things you can actually write down and implement to make dating more fun. One of the things that will really help is if you change your mindset. And if you guys have heard this example before, bear with me, but I think it's really good. If you've ever played the lottery, all right, it's what, like $1 or something, I don't know what ticket, I don't know how much it is, but it's a little investment. You have to pay for it. You go and you buy the ticket. You have hopes that you win the lottery. But every single time you walk into that convenience store and buy that ticket, you're not bated breath, just waiting. Nothing else is happening until you hear the numbers announced, the winners. You're not living your life like, oh my God, this gotta be it, this gotta be it. And you don't get your hopes up so high. It's this healthy balance of, hey, I can't win if I don't play. Let me play. If I win, amazing. If I don't, whatever, it was fun. That was a rush, seeing if I was winner. That to me is the best way to approach dating. And I think unfortunately with women, because I don't think men struggle with this so much, but with women, oh, maybe they do? Okay. With women, you meet somebody, he's cute, he has subject-verb agreements, you're like, oh, he might have something going on. And then you start to fantasize. You're picturing your name with his last name, how many kids you could have. You've gone through this whole thing and you haven't even had the first date yet. Now you're dating this fantasy person who doesn't even exist because you haven't even experienced it yet. So I would say pump the brakes, slow your roll, and actually take the time to just focus on getting to know the person. Get excited about the theory of meeting somebody, but don't get excited about that person until they give you a reason to be excited. And I'm speaking from experience. I used to get so excited about potential, and I'd get a number and I'd call my girlfriend. Oh my gosh, you'll never believe what happened tonight. And this is what he looks like. And this is what he said. And this is what he did. Come on. It's not that serious. This person hasn't proven anything. John's laughing at subject agreement. James says one of the best first dates. We walked the Beltline here in Atlanta and talked for 4 hours. Yes, I'm telling you, it's not about what you're doing. And that will also save the men. It will weed out the gold diggers, the dinner diggers, because there are a lot of women who are just digging for dinners. So if you have that first date and she doesn't bat an eye at doing something casual, grabbing a coffee, whatever, going for a quick walk, then that's, that'll work. Did you want to chime in? Because I know you have yourself on mute. I have my little list I'm going to rattle. Okay, so I said before this, make sure that you, excuse me, pay attention to the signs. Don't get so caught up in the experience of it. Oh my God, he called me this and this. Pay attention. We did that little role playing earlier where I said, be the asshole versus be the good guy. See how that person is concerned with how you feel. Give them little hints. Hey, I really like to talk on the phone, or I prefer FaceTime or whatever, and see if they actually employ that. Hey, it's easier for me to talk at night than in the morning because I got my kids getting off to school, whatever the case may be. And then see, does he start calling you at night? Pay attention. And I'm saying he, but you could switch the gender if you're a guy listening. See if she pays attention. Hey, I work out every day after the gym. I work out every day after work, so I'm usually home by this time. Okay, maybe she doesn't hit you while you're at the gym. And what else? Pay attention to what they say, but more importantly, pay attention to what they do, because especially men, I'm going to point to the men, men are very good with their words, because women tend to fall in love with what they hear. So any guy who's worth his salt knows he could talk a really good game. And so this is how you can, separate the good guys and the bad. Guys who don't want anything genuine are not going to do a lot of things that take their time. They can quickly say words, but they're not going to invest their time unless they're a psychopath and it's something that they're really not into. And the other thing I would say is pump the brakes on getting physical. This has nothing to do with faith, although there's definitely a reason there with that faith thing. But so much gets not misconstrued, so much just gets cloudy and fuzzy when you're physical, because you might be weighing in how great of a kisser he is or how amazing he is in bed, and you're putting less importance on, does he communicate well? Does he pay attention to my schedule? Does he even listen to me? Does he even take me out? And you get confused. So there's a time and a place for all that, but hold off as long as you can before getting, getting vertical? What do they say? Getting horizontal? Before getting horizontal.
Steve Burke used to say.
Oh my goodness. Those are my 2 cents on there. Did you have anything you wanted to weigh in? I warned you had a lot I wanted to share tonight.
I think that communication, finding out which way a person loves to communicate. I know they talk about the love languages, the 5 love languages, and that's a great. Okay, here's what I need people to understand. That's a great start. That's not the finish. Okay, it's not going to tell you everything you need to know about this person, right? So it's kind of like judging a person based on their zodiac sign. You really can't just judge a person based on their zodiac sign because there's so many elements to a person, right? First thing I say, people, what's your zodiac? I'm a Taurus. Okay. Oh, y'all are stubborn. Oh. I'm like, well, wait, because my son is a Taurus as well. But if you really want to get very deep into it, there's a thing called the zodiac deacons, where it's broken down into 3s on their behavior. Mm. And my son, who is a Taurus, he's at the beginning, he's a very passionate person. I used to think he was like mad and he was a stubborn and da-da-da. And I was wondering why he wasn't responding like me. And so I learned about this. So that part of him, that's different from me, where I can be that professional guy or I can be that very personal guy. I waver because I sit in the middle, right? But then my name is Jason. And what does the name Jason mean, right?
What does it mean?
It means healer.
Okay.
So it means healer, and then my middle name means joy. So I'm just walking around joy healer, right? And then you have like my Chinese zodiac sign, which is a monkey. So I'm creative and playful. So those are like just elements of me that those 5 love languages will never, ever show and not tell, right? So Yonci has parts to her, her zodiac, her name, everything about her, right? And so once again, I can't relate her zodiac sign, which I don't know, but I can't relate her zodiac sign to like every other zodiac sign out there. That's not fair to her. That's putting her at a disadvantage.
Yeah. No, I think that's good. A shout out to Tony who just joined us. Guys, if you haven't hit that like button yet, please do so. Thank you for joining us. And this is the new format. My videos are just going to be an hour moving forward. So the last couple ones have just been an hour. But if you're new and you're used to having marathon 5-6 hour sessions when I was trying to get monetized on YouTube, just know that if you come in close to 6 o'clock Pacific Standard or 9 o'clock Eastern, you're going to get the tail end. So we're actually wrapping up, but I'm still happy to see you and I want your likes. Let YouTube know this is the type of content more people want to see. I'm going to rattle off a couple other things before we finish because you guys, I take this seriously. I have notes, okay? Type notes. But I'm going to share some stuff before I forget. If you're taking notes, write this down. We talked about things that you can do to make dating more enjoyable. And basically, in a nutshell, what we've said so far is start paying more attention at the beginning so that you can get hurt less. If you start to see somebody doesn't have behaviors that you like, the faster you get off the ship, the less of a negative experience you have. And then the fewer negative experiences you have, the less you will look at dating as negative altogether. Oh, sweet Natasha, so we like the content, whatever link. Thank you so much. Okay. The other thing about sex that I forgot to mention, which is a good thing I wrote it down, is that we need to stop being so flippant about sex and stop acting like it's not a big deal. So a lot of times people who don't have faith, because obviously people of faith, they already have the belief that it's not right outside of marriage, so just don't do it. But if you don't have that belief with with faith backing that, you might be flippant about sex and say, oh, I'm sex positive, it's no big deal, whatever, whatever, whatever. Sex is a big, big deal. There are definitely ties that tie you to that person. That's why people get so enraged when they are cheated on and sex is involved. Nobody gets crazy mad over a conversation. They get crazy mad over fluids being swapped. So we can't play both sides of it and say it's not a big deal and then say it is a big deal. It is a big deal. Or if someone has sex with you and they never talk to you again, you're much more pissed than if they didn't have sex with you and never talk to you again. So first of all, can we stop pretending like sex isn't a big deal? It really is. It's not meaningless. Or we say it's meaningless, but a lot of times men are using meaningless sex to fill an emotional need. So men, take a look at yourself and say, am I having sex with women so that I can feel intimacy and feel loved and feel adored and cherished? And if that's the case, you're using sex as a means to get to something, and that's not the way to get it long term. So just be mindful if you're doing that. And women, make sure that you're not giving in to sex. I say giving in because a lot of times there are women who don't want to have sex yet with the guy. The ladies who are having sex prematurely, make sure you're not doing it as a way to secure his heart, because that's the actual opposite way. Yes, there are some men who fall in love after they get, knock the boots, but that is not the rule. Most men will agree with that. Subconsciously, they do like to feel like there is a challenge. They do like to feel like she is set above and she's, not just easy. And I don't mean that in a condescending way, but if it's easy, we value it less. That's men and women. So just take psychology and run with it. I want to wrap up by saying, get clear on what you want. I kind of mentioned this before. Write down what you want. Say it out loud. Close your eyes and envision it. So when you see someone that's not it, you know right away. If I know what Jason looks like, I've looked at him enough, I've talked to him enough, I know his voice, I know what he looks like. It's not going to take me long to recognize if it's someone that's not him. They can say, I'm Jason Hayes. And I'm like, that's not your voice. Or if he walks in front of me and says, I'm Jason, that's not your face. So know what you want so that you can quickly dismiss with a good attitude and be on to the next person. This is so, so crucial. We have to stop doing these negative things that cause us to become bitter, because then we have bitter experiences with other bitter people, and then it feels like the dating pool has pee in it. Continue to work on yourself in the process. Understand that there is someone for everyone. I really believe that. And if you haven't met that person yet, that just means that they're working on themselves, or you're working on yourself, or maybe a combination of both. So do not get discouraged. And that does not mean to lower your, not your guard, lower your standards. Don't lower your standards. What's that?
Lower your expectations.
Yeah, don't lower your expectations, but don't lower your standards. And then also understand that even if you're casually dating, so maybe you say, oh, I'm not in a position to be in a relationship, I just want to casually date and have meaningless sex. Understand that you are still exerting the same energy. So you are kidding yourself if you think that you're having something outside of a relationship. You are having a relationship. And you are being malicious if you know that you don't want a relationship, but you're doing relationship things. And I don't care if you say the disclaimer at the beginning, I don't want anything, I'm not looking for anything serious. No, you still don't get a pass. If you don't want a relationship, do not partake in relationship activities, because it is not right. It is not good karma. You do not want that juju coming back to you. Okay? Just don't do it. Don't do it. Hold off. Do what you need to do without sex. Do what you need to do without attention. Oh, and this is the last thing that I want to say. Ladies especially. Maybe not ladies especially. Everyone. Clear out your phone. If there are people in your phone who you don't want to be with, stop communication. This advice is for people who are serious about finding their person. Stop communication. I have been practicing this recently. Don't text because you just want validation. Don't text because you want to be flattered. Don't text because you're bored. Do not communicate and don't respond to communication that is not intentional. If I have not had a conversation with you saying, hey, do you see something potentially? Do you want to explore what that could be? Anything other than that, we're wasting each other's time, and we're filling that space that somebody else could be in. And what you don't realize is that person might be satisfying this itch temporarily, and it will cause you to not be open to this other person because they're taking your time. They're physically taking your space, and they're mentally and spiritually taking your space. So if you want to be with someone real and have a real authentic relationship, clear yourself up. It will do wonders for you. Plus, that's wasted time that you could be using for getting closer to your goals in life that are outside of romance. Okay, so he said drip, 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 dating pool. Okay, the water. He said there's pee in the dating pool. No wonder the water's warm. That's hilarious. All right, so those are my closing thoughts. I want to end with this quote from my buddy Troy. He said, many times who you decide to love depends on how much you love yourself. And that is so true. When I look back at the people that I entertained, that's embarrassing. It showed that I really didn't love myself enough because I was letting just the bottom rung. They were getting in. They were getting me to answer the call, and I'm responding to text messages. Never again. I want to give you an opportunity to plug if you have anything you would like to plug, sir, because you have been amazing tonight, and I appreciate your time.
No worries. I want to give a shout out to my cousin Austin. He's been successfully in business for 1 year.
Hey.
Brand, you know.
Say the brand name because I cut you off when I said hey.
Iconic. It's like iconic, but we're iconic. Okay. Right? So shout out to my little cousin Austin. You're doing great things on that. If you want to find me, I'm not hard to find. I am known as the concierge of HR. I like to talk about communication because this is one of the most important things that you have to face when you're going into an interview, when you're on your job, when you're, looking to find information to help make yourself successful. These actually coincide a lot. So hey, look me up, Concierge of HR. Yonci, thank you for giving me a chance to be on the show again.
Yay! And put your IG, if you don't mind, put your IG in the comments. And if you do Instagram.com/, it becomes a hyperlink. People could just click on it. So I'll let you do that. I'm going to formally tell you goodbye, but I'm going to do my closing statements. And if you want to stick around after, we can wrap. But let me get back. Where is my little button here? Okay, there we go. I clicked the wrong button, you guys. Sorry about that. All right, so let me get into my closing thoughts. Thank you guys so much for joining in. I think the screen is frozen. Okay, should be back now. Sorry about that. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's so different only having an hour. It goes by super, super fast. But I wanted to say thank you for watching. If you guys would like to show support at any time, a lot of you guys reach out and say, I love your content. I love what you're doing, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to go ahead and throw my Cash App out there. You can always support me on Patreon. It's patreon.com/Yonci, and that is always in the description below. It's there if you would like to go ahead and look at that information. I want to talk to you next, though, about the Sunshine Club. I spoke to you guys a little bit at the very beginning. Thank you, Eric. I want to speak to you guys about the Sunshine Club. I have such a passion for getting people to where they want to go. I truly, truly believe that a lot of times people just don't have the tools to get to where they want to go. And they look at other people and say, well, I guess it's just in the cards for them, but it's not in the cards for me. Or they feel like, you know what, some people are just meant to have that type of body. It's just not meant for me. I don't want anybody to go short of their dreams because they don't have the tools and the know-how to how to get there. So what I've done is I set up this group on Facebook, and what it is it's a place where we can hold each other accountable. I have monthly challenges, and the reason why I do monthly challenges is because they can be broken down by days. And I think a lot of times we give ourselves these really big goals, and then we get so disappointed when we don't hit these goals, but they were just too lofty to begin with. Or maybe they're not too lofty, you just need to break them down to bite-sized pieces. So what I do is I have this program where I get you forming good habits. And then once you get these good habits formed, it's like riding a bicycle. The first couple pedals are pretty difficult to do, but after a while, the momentum kicks in and you will be shocked at what you can accomplish. I will give you a real life example. It always takes me about 20 minutes to hit a mile. I have never been the type of person who could run. But for the past couple of months, I have been forcing myself to build my endurance and build my cardio abilities. Today, I ran the entire time. I ran at 3.5 miles per hour on the treadmill for 16 minutes. Was it 16? Yeah, I think it was 16 minutes and 45 seconds, and I hit a mile. And I was not even winded. I could have kept going, but I actually had to stop because I had to get ready for tonight. If you guys understood when I was skinny, because I was skinty my whole life. Depression is what made me balloon because of the medication that I took. But I was skinny. I'm talking a size 0 in some clothes, a 2-4 in others. I was skinny, but I was always out of shape. So there could be chubby people running next to me and they would beat me, okay? Because I was just skinny, but out of shape. This was huge, but what it was is every single day I did a little bit of exercise, a little bit of exercise, a little bit of exercise, and you look up and you have such a great ability. Not to mention I've lost 20 pounds since I've started. Thank you so much, because I had a little setback with my back injury, but I'm telling you guys, it doesn't have to be a weight loss goal. It could be wanting to finish a project. It could be wanting to be a better parent. It could be just wanting to have better self-discipline. Whatever it is, you guys, I want to help you achieve that and give you the tools that you can use for the rest of your life. So if that's something that you're interested in, reach out to me on any of the platforms. You can email me. Instagram is probably the easiest. You can DM me, or you can go to the description below and look at the information. I don't even know if that link is updated because it used to be so complicated. I made it a lot easier, so maybe just DM me. But that's it. I really, really, really want you guys to be excited. We have had people have awesome results. One girl started out, she took the challenge to do 2 miles a day. It could be walking or running. And she ended up doing 6.5 every single day. She didn't even try to go for 6.5, but it just becomes this thing where you do it so much, your body's like, give me more, give me more, give me more. And now she's looked up, she's 10 pounds down just in the month of July. All right, guys. So make sure you sign up. Like I said, DM me on Instagram. I'm Chasing Yonci. You guys can see me there. I still have merch. If you guys go on my website, chasingyonci.com, you can do that as well. If you want to advertise on here, let me know, because she's blowing up, y'all. I'm speaking that to existence. And so any content that you are on, it's permanent. You pay one time for the ad and it is permanently out there. It is evergreen content, all right? These are not trending topics, so people are going to be watching this video next year and the year after that and the year after that. So if you are a business person and you want a unique opportunity to advertise, there is your chance. I think I shouted out everybody except I believe there was an Indiana. If you guys haven't shouted out your state, do it now, because I'll shout you out before we go. I don't want to miss it. Yep, I saw the Chino Hills. We have Eric in Chino Hills. Hey, there we go. Hiawathia, I hope I'm saying your name right. She said hello from Indianapolis, Indiana. Hello, hello. I know I saw an Atlanta. And let me scroll because we got carried away with the conversation. Oh, Ray. Hello, Ray. I didn't see your comment. Hi. Thank you for watching. We got a DC in the house. And who else? Dallas. Oh, we got a Dallas. Oh, hey, Aubrey. I know Aubrey from Instagram. Hey, Aubrey. And then our guest, Jason, he was watching from Atlanta. Tony is in New York. And let's see. Oh, Montreal, I forgot. We got our Canada girl. Let's see. Okay, so I think that's everybody. If you guys like this, do me a favor. Please smash that like button. Drop a comment in the actual main comments. So when we click off of here, these are all the chat comments, but go in the main comments because that's what people see, and let people know if you liked it, because it pushes it out for Instagram. It pushes the content out because Instagram says, oh, if these people are commenting, they must have really liked it. Okay. If you're not following me on Instagram, you can do that. Follow me there. Until next time, you guys, tell someone that you love them.